We're going to talk today about Windows 8. What is this crazy thing that Microsoft has come up with? It's quite a bold step. So anyone who has typecast Microsoft as being a arch-conservative, reactionary, timid, lumbering corporation has underestimated them, because Windows 8 is like nothing we've seen before, certainly from Microsoft. It's got a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but you've heard it's the economy stupid, or it's the this stupid, or it's the that stupid. Well, with Windows 8, it's real simple, kids. It's about touch. It's about touch. And it's about touch on your computer, which you might not want on your computer, so that's certainly something you want to keep in mind when you're thinking about Windows 8 for a desktop or notebook computer. It's about touch on your phone, although we don't know anyone yet who is using a Windows phone. There's probably 2 or 3 people out there who have Windows phones. And it's about touch on your tablet. And of course, there's not too many people using Windows tablets either. So in a way, and it's something worth thinking about, Windows 8 is as much for Microsoft as it is for users, because Microsoft needs to get going. I mean, in a way, they've got a tablet, right, called the Surface. It's not even out yet. I mean, this, if you think about it, this is pathetic. How long has Apple been cranking out iPads, right? They're on their second, iPad 2, iPad 3, and Microsoft doesn't have a tablet yet? I mean, we're not talking about late to the party. We're talking about showing up the next day after the party's over and everyone's back to work and saying, hey, where's the party? So, in a way, it's crazy how late Microsoft is. And if you think that we're in this high-speed, hyper-competitive, gotta react yesterday type of world, particularly in high technology, then it's inconceivable that Microsoft isn't further along on its quest to keep up with Apple and with Google Android. However, as I was using Windows 8, and I've spent a lot of time with it, the first thing to say, to be fair to Microsoft, is that it's a really good product. I mean, it's appealing in a lot of different ways. It works well. It's not clunky. It's not buggy. It's a good software product, and assuming that it was a good engineering approach to try to meld the previous world of the Windows desktop with the start button and a more touch-oriented, icon-oriented, app-oriented, sort of iOS-type interface, then they've done it as well as anybody could do it. So once again, I want to be fair to Microsoft people and say that what they've done is incredibly good work. I would say software engineering work. Now, in the old days, I used to consult with Polaroid Corporation, the great instant camera people from the 60s and the 70s. And of course, they're still in business, but they're a mere shell of their former self. They're just really a kind of a marketing organization now. The old Polaroid is gone, long gone. Anyway, the head of engineering at Microsoft, at Polaroid, he was named Hugh McKenzie, and we used to call it Hugh McKenzie's eggs, and there were a lot of jokes about Hugh McKenzie's eggs. But he had these eggs on his desktop that were, he had, I think it was buttons. Yeah, he had buttons sewn onto eggs. He had actually hired some clever person to sew buttons onto eggs without breaking the egg and making the yolk and everything run out of it. And he had these on his desk because, as head of engineering in a major company, he wanted to communicate what he perceived to be a truism, and that was that just because you can engineer or build something doesn't mean you should. So you could say, well, should we have an operating system that blends a traditional desktop start button, Windows or even OS X type experience with an iPhone, iOS, touch type thing. Well, that's something that we're going to have to think about a little bit, because whether or not it's the best approach, Microsoft's done it. And so in a way, they've even out-Appled Apple. Because of course, we all think that Apple's got everything just perfect everywhere, that they are incapable of engineering something badly or taking a misstep in the technology field. But the truth is, they've got two things going on here. They've got OS X on their desktop computers. Remember those Macintosh computers? Yeah, people still use them. They've got, and that's a traditional computer operating system. Start it up, shut it down. Start, programs, run, it's all the same. They've got that, and then they've got iOS, which is on their tablets and their phones. So you've got two different operating systems going on in the whole Apple infrastructure. And sure, they can make stuff compatible, and they can make it look alike. I forget, there's a name for it, I don't remember what it's called, but on OS X there is a mode that you can switch into. I'll have to look up that name. There's a mode you can switch into that, instead of looking like the standard OS X, we won't call it a desktop, we'll call it a Finder, because that's what Apple calls it. Instead of it looking like your Finder, it looks like an iPhone, right? So you've got all the stuff. Now the problem is, think about it, none of the Mac towers, remember those? They don't sell those at the Apple stores, I'm told, anymore. You have to order them online. So those big, beautiful Mac towers, computers, think about it, the towers and the laptops, all the AirBooks and iBooks and whatever they call them, MacBook Pros, all those machines, none of those are touch, right? So touch is confined to the tablets and of course the phones and maybe the iPod Touch and the little music player. So in the Apple universe, you're cleaved. You've got touch machines, non-touch machines. And of course, the Microsoft world, the Wintel world, it's cleaved also, because even if Windows 8 is everywhere and Windows 8 is touch, only a portion of the machines that you're going to see this operating system on are going to be touch. Some are going to be touch, some are not going to be touch. So we'll do another video and I'll show you a nifty product. It's called it's a planar touch monitor. It's a nice monitor. Notice, not yet are you seeing these touch monitors from the major manufacturers. I haven't seen any Samsung touch monitors or LG touch. I mean, I guess maybe they're out there in small numbers, but I haven't seen them. The only one I saw, and I bought one, and I've been playing with it here in the Computer Guru's laboratory. It's a planar, and they used to have a reputation of being really good quality monitors, and they just sort of vanished for a while. And now maybe they're coming back, but they've got a beautiful touch monitor. So then you can take a computer, a desktop, or I suppose a laptop if you want to hook it up, but certainly a desktop. And with the planar monitor and Windows 8, you've got a touch computer. Okay, so you can take your non-touch Windows 7 desktop computer, and with the addition of Windows 8 and the planar monitor, turn it into a full touch Windows 8 gadget. Voila, it can be done. So now the question, and I think I'll leave the video here and let us ponder this, is we've got to, climb up to the mountain, meditate, and think about, do we want touch? Do we like touch? How useful is touch? And particularly since it's sort of obvious that on a tablet perhaps or a phone you want touch. That's kind of, a given at this point. But the real question that we all need to think about is, do we want touch on a full-blown computer system? That's the real question that I think I'm going to go ponder, and I'd like you to ponder it too. So this is the Computer Guru in Santa Fe, signing off.